Ladies and gentlemen, the agenda meeting of the Monroe Township Council, combined agenda and regular meeting, is called to order. Would you all please rise as we honor our flag? Pledge allegiance to the United States. Thank you. Be seated.
Did you hear all the voices saying?
Will the clerk please read the sunshine law into the
No,
record?
roll call, please. Roll call.
Oh, roll call, sorry. I'm thrown off by all the people. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Miriam Cohen?
Yes.
Councilman Charles DePiero?
Here.
Councilwoman Rupa P. Siegel?
Here.
Councilman Terrence Van Zura?
Here.
Thank you. Please read the sunshine law into the record.
In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, it is hereby announced and shall be entered into the minutes of this meeting that adequate notice has been provided by the following. 1. Posted boards within the municipal building on December 30th, 2022, and remains posted at that location for public inspection. 2. Printed in the Home News Tribune and the Cranberry Press on December 30th, 2022. 3. Posted on the Monroe Township website. And 4. Sent to those individuals who have requested personal notice. In accordance with Chapter 3, Section 17 of the Monroe Township Code, public comment shall be limited to 5 minutes unless further time is granted by the council president.
Thank you very much. We have presentations and proclamations at this time. Apraxia Awareness Day, May 14th, 2023. Om Parikh Day, May 21st, 2023. Emergency Medical Services Week, May 21st through May 27th, 2023. And the month of May is Military Appreciation Month. At this time, however, we have the distinct pleasure of the presentations that will be done by the Human Relations
Commission.
and she's afraid I'll miss it, right? Yes. That will be done as the Human Relations Commission annual ceremony. This is done every year where we honor and present awards to those students who exemplify the 6 pillars of character. This will be done by Harjeet Verdi, the Human Relations Chairperson. Would you please step to the podium, where I understand you will be joined by our distinguished mayor. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I am Harjeet Verdi, Chairperson for Monroe Township Human Relations Commission. This is my favorite event of the year, where we recognize one student from every school and grade in Monroe Township for demonstrating good character. The school selects one student from each grade who exemplifies 6 pillars of character: trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. Before I start announcing the names, I would like to recognize Eileen Binaz, who is the Secretary for Human Relations Commission, and she works very closely with school and teachers to get these recommendations for the Good Character Award. So thank you, Eileen. I would also like to thank all the members of Human Relations Commission who volunteer their time and work to make Monroe a more inclusive township, where diversity and inclusion is valued and everyone should feel respected and get the feeling of belongingness. I would request all HRC members to stand if they are present in the audience. Thank you to all of them. Now we'll start our award ceremonies. I'll speak name of the awardees. They should come in front. They take their certificate from Mr. Mayor, Jelena, pose for the picture, and then go back and have a seat. In the end, we'll get a group picture with all the awardees together with HRC members and the township attendees who are here. With that, I'll start announcing the names. I'll go with the schools: Barclay Brook, Pre-K, Ira Vijayavagia,
The mayor's still stuck.
she needs to. Each awardee will get a certificate and a box of cookies. Kindergarten, Melissa Simsek. First grade, Isabella Camarillo. Second grade, Sean Lucci. Next, we go to Millek School, Pre-K, Joselle Abraham. Then we have from kindergarten, Jordan Rincon. First grade, Gabriella Burles. Third grade, Amelia Wood.
Getting a little tall.
Oak Tree School, self-contained grade 1, Haswith Yuralapan.
Oh.
Kindergarten, Emmeline Lee. Second grade, Isabella Aresta. Third grade, Gia Lombardi. Applegarth School, fourth grade, Zia Mittal.
Look at that.
Logan Robinson. Logan Robinson.
Yep, she skipped.
Okay. From Oak Tree, first grade, Logan Robinson.
Bruce, look at that.
From Mill Lake, second grade, Ella Martin. So I'll announce Mill Lake Pre-K Josel Ibrahim again. Is here. Yeah, she's there. Applegarth, fifth grade, Pragna Balaji.
Sounds like the slot machine.
Brookside, third grade, Krupa Pandya. Fourth grade, Paul Ragosa. Fifth grade, Shania Singh. From Woodland School, fourth grade, Orion Boy. Fifth grade, Aiden O'Neill. Middle school, sixth grade, Kamara Benjamin. 8th grade Angelina Sexario. High school freshman Adhya Mukunda. From sophomore Chase Gagliardi. Junior Yog Manani. And senior Lawrence Casey. Yeah. So congratulations to all the parents and the awardees. Now I'll pass on to Mayor Stephen Delina if he wants to say something.
Thank God the kids started getting taller because my thighs were killing me as I was going up and down. In all seriousness, every year, this is something that we all look forward to. The administration, the commission, the council members, and myself. This is the future, but it's also the legacy. As a parent, I have 2 grown adults now, and that's my legacy to leave. For you, what a great start to have, for you to come here with your child to be recognized amongst peers, by their schools, and now by the town. You know, the words thank you, I don't really captures that moment. Just all I know is when they came up and the smiles that I saw on the parents, grandparents' faces, that's worth it all. So again, congratulations, and just thank you for being great parents, and kids, thank you for being wonderful. Take care.
I'm going to take a moment and see if my council colleagues wish to say anything at this time. I'll look to my extreme right, begin there.
First, I want to say congratulations to the children and the kids, and also to the parents and the grandparents and the families. Because as our mayor said, this is our future, and it's a bright future, and we look forward to each and every one of you making a big splash in the future, and we're here for you guys. And it was a good thing to see all the smiles on everybody's faces. And as the mayor said, enjoy the cookies, and everything will work out. But congratulations to all, and the teachers and the parents and the grandparents that helped each and every one of you become a brighter future for all of us. And I just want to say congratulations and thank you.
Again, I echo what everyone said already, but I do congratulate you all, first the students and of course the parents. These pillars really mean something. It's the foundation. It's something you will carry with you your whole life in everything you do, and it makes you the person that you are. So I congratulate all of you. grandparents, parents, and students especially. Keep up the great work and keep doing what you do.
Council Vice President.
Thank you, Madam President. The 6 pillars, worth repeating: caring, responsibility, respect, fairness, citizenship, and trustworthiness. That says a lot about a person when you can say that you are among the tops in your class in those categories. These children that come here, and this doesn't just start when they're in the 6th grade or in the 5th grade. It starts when they're little. You could tell that their parents do a wonderful job, the teachers do a wonderful job, and the children themselves deserve a tremendous amount of thanks and congratulations. So thank you for all that all of you do, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
I'd like to add my words to the congratulations all of my colleagues on this council have offered. It is special. And in the world that is so frightening to many of us today, and with the bigotry and hatred we see that seems to be growing by leaps and bounds, it is so marvelous to see that we live in a community where the parents in the town value the values of our country and value themselves and their family and their children's. Their children's values demonstrate what they have been taught. I would also like to express my thanks to the Human Rights Commission. We have come to depend on you even more with the needs we have to spread the word of tolerance and love and the sense of community. So for all your service, I say thank you very, very much. I'm smelling beautiful flowers, seeing beautiful things. What a wonderful way to start the evening. We are going to have a group picture. Mr. Photographer, Mr. Weinberg?
Yes, if you take a 5-minute recess, we're going to try and
Sure.
get a group picture of all the children together with the council and the Human Relations Commission, and that'll be after that we'll have a break for some people who have to, go to bed and nap time and other things, and then we'll reconvene the meeting. So if you give us a 5-minute recess, we'll do a group shot, Council President.
Thank you very
5-minute
much.
recess.
5-minute
5-minute
recess,
recess.
please. Reconvening, please.
Seven o'clock.
What time?
7 p.m.
Reconvened at 7 p.m. We will proceed with the ordinances for second reading. Item 6, please.
Ordinance O-4-2023-012, ordinance accepting deed of dedication for detention basin, Block 68, Lot 48.12. O-4-2023-013, ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriations limit and to establish a cap bank. O-4-2023-015, bond ordinance providing for the acquisition of property for use as open space by the Township of Monroe and the County of Middlesex, New Jersey, appropriating $2,440,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $2,323,800 bonds or notes for the township to finance part of the cost thereof. O-4-2023-016, ordinance authorizing the acquisition of Block 75, Lot 15 on the official tax map of the Township of Monroe, more commonly known as 405 Spotswood Gravel Hill Road.
Number 7, ordinances for introduction at our May 1st, 2023 regular meeting, please.
O-5-2023-017, ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 122, Article 13 of the Code of the Township of Monroe to authorize the police to enforce Title 39 of the New Jersey Motor Vehicle Code in Regency at Monroe. O-5-2023-018, ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 122, Article 13 of the Code of the Township of Monroe to authorize the police to enforce Title 39 of the New Jersey Motor Vehicle Code in Fairways at Forest Gate.
Thank you. Item 8 are the resolutions for consideration under the consent agenda at the May 1st, 2023 regular meeting. R5 2023-127 through R5 2023-146. Would all council people please review the resolutions if you have not done so already? If there are any resolutions that you wish removed from the consent agenda, please notify the clerk now. Mr. Shapiro.
I have two.
Yes, sir.
R5 2023-133. R5 2023-138.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else have any resolutions they wish removed from the consent agenda for the regular meeting? We'll move to the public comment section, which, as a reminder to everyone, is limited to agenda items only, 5 minutes per speaker. I'd like a motion to open the public comment section, please.
So moved.
Motion.
May I have a
Second.
second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Public comment section is now open. Please, if you wish to address the council, come forward. State your name and address for the record. Fine.
Debbie Schneider, 23 Harwood Road. What is Title 39?
Title 39 are the motor vehicle statutes for the state of New Jersey.
What specifically does Title 39 do? Or
So what it does is that, for instance, if you have a stop sign if there's a stop sign in the development now, instead of it just being a violation of your rules and regulations of your development, it would now be a motor vehicle offense. So we can enforce stop signs and we can enforce speeding regulations inside of the community.
so we're talking tickets and points.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And just for the record, this can only be done at the request and the consent of the property owner. It's not something that we can't impose on somebody. So this was a request that came from the community. We review it to make sure that everything comports with the New Jersey statutes, and then we would approve. We only approve it upon the request of the property owner.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
George Kunkelman, 5 Killicourt, Monroe.
Yes.
Under the ordinance, the 015, it refers to part of the cost thereof. I'd like to know who the other partners are and to what extent they participate in that. And in the consent resolutions, item 141, the purchase of the equipment, it's kind of a big number. Are there any possibilities for grants from county or state to help us with that? It's a big lump in one event. I was curious if we see any opportunities to get a grant to help with that. On item 143, it doesn't give what the cost of that service is. So I was curious as to what the cost is. And those are the only items I had.
Sure.
Mr. Conklin, on the first one, on the bond ordinance, every bond ordinance has two purposes. One is when you do a capital appropriation, is an appropriation, and the second one is authorizing how much money you can borrow. So this is authorizing an appropriation of $2.4 million, $2.44 million, and then the rest of that sentence says, and authorizing the issuance of bonds in the amount of $2,323,800 to finance part of the cost thereof. In other words, part of the $2.4 million.
Okay, so
So it's not that there's another partner in this.
Okay.
So we have to put a down payment down. So we
Open
pay part of it in
space
cash.
is entirely a local thing then?
This one is. Not all of them are. Sometimes we partner with the county on open
Yeah,
space.
well, that's what I
Sometimes
was-
we get Green Acres money, but
But in this case, we didn't get any help from anybody.
correct.
Not,
Well, go ahead.
not
Mr.
yet.
Weinberg.
We have
Yeah,
reached.
because Green Acres is a reimbursement program, for instance, so we can apply to Green Acres, and we can also apply to the county. Correct.
Okay. And
Mr. Weinberg?
our intention to do so?
We've already had that conversation with Rick Lear over, and he's working on it, and we've already reached out to the state as well. Sorry, moving on to item
Yes, please.
141, police radio. So we can look at that. We can look at that. Obviously, this is over 10 years, so just to keep that in mind, it averages closer to $200,000 a year. Some of this stuff is obviously critical. If there's an opportunity for us to apply through the state attorney general's program, we certainly will do that. There's certainly nothing open now as we're moving through it. And on 143, so this is an award of a bid to Farnsworth and Semtefelter. It's always hard to say. So as you know, we have an ambulance reimbursement program. We do not balance bill within the township, but it helps support our 5 stations. The number you're looking for is 3.06%, which is moving off of 2.97% the previous 3 years. So it's about a 3% increase to 3.06%. The other 2 bidders were at 4.99 and 7.00. So we're sticking with the person that we currently have, which went from 2.97 the previous 3 years to 3.06.
And that is a percent of the gross reimbursements?
Council President, yes, that's exactly right. They do all the work to bring the money in, and they get that percent.
Going back to 141, you said it's spread out over 10 years, then is it lease agreement basically, or what is it?
Yes, please continue.
Yeah, so Council President, we previously bonded for this item with a 10-year item, and now we'll be purchasing this over a 10-year period. The body-worn cameras get replaced every 2.5 years. The video cameras inside the cars, I think, every 5. The tasers every 5. The automatic license plate readers, which is something we only have on a few vehicles now, but we'll now have automatic license plate readers on 26 vehicles. So that'll be a major improvement for us in terms of crime prevention.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the council now? Seeing and hearing none, I entertain a motion to close the public portion, please.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. Motion carries. I would like a motion to adjourn the agenda meeting, please.
So moved.
Thank you. A second on that motion.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero?
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel?
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora?
Yes.
Council President Cohen?
Yes.
It's
Meeting is adjourned. The agenda meeting is adjourned at what?
7:10.
7:10?
7:10 p.m.
This is very good. I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Monroe Township Council to order. Motion, please.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero?
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel?
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora?
Yes.
Council President Cohen?
Thank you. Motion,
Vote, please.
yes.
Okay.
I thought I said yes.
No.
I always forget it was yes. At this point, I would like to call for a nomination to fill the vacancy for the Ward 1 council member seat. May I have a
Madam
motion?
President, if I may,
Yes, please.
in order to fill the vacancy for the Ward 1 council seat formerly held by our esteemed colleague Betty Schneider, it is my distinct honor and privilege to put forth the name of and nominate Michael A. Markell to fill the unexpired term for this Ward 1 council seat.
May I have a second for that nomination?
Second.
Thank you. If there are any further nominations, hearing none, I would like a motion to close nominations. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. We have a resolution therefore following. Can I have a vote on the would like a vote on resolution R5 2023-127. A motion, please.
So moved.
Second on that, please.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero?
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel?
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora?
Yes.
Council President Cohen?
Yes. At this point, we would like to request that the township clerk administer the oath of office to our newly appointed councilman so that he may take his seat. You never could tell. I know.
Would you like somebody to hold the Bible for you?
No.
Don't everybody fight over it. Okay, so it's easier if I go on this side. Oh, and turn and face me. You hold the Bible and stand to his left. Left hand on the Bible and right up. And just, is it Markel or Markle?
Markel.
Okay. Just repeat after me. I, Michael Markle, do solemnly swear
I, Michael Markle, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of New Jersey,
and the state of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and of the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly perform
impartially, and justly perform
all the duties of Ward 1 council member
all the duties of Ward 1 council member
in the Township of Monroe
in the Township of Monroe
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Would you like to
Thank you.
Do you want to take a moment before we continue? Or would you like to wait to the end when all council people make some comments?
I can wait till the end.
That's a good thing. I'm with that one.
There's your agenda to your right, as well as
Okay.
the, state format for the budget. Okay. Council President, it's all yours.
Oh, thank you for having motion. I would like a motion to approve the minutes of the following meetings as written and presented. April 3rd. Oh, I'm sorry. I always leave claim. Motion to approve the payments of claims. My apologies. Per the run date of April 26, 2023. Motion, please.
Motion.
Thanks. Second, please.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero,
Abstain.
Councilman Markle,
I'll abstain.
Councilwoman Siegel,
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora,
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. Motion to approve the minutes of the following meeting, April 3rd, 2023, as written and presented. It's an agenda and regular combined meeting. Motion.
Motion.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero,
Yes.
Councilman Markel,
I'll abstain.
Councilwoman Siegel,
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora,
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Thank you. Passes. What?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. I'm in a lot of trouble here. Ordinances for the second reading, 04-2023-012. The ordinance accepting deed of dedication for the detention basin, Block 68, Lot 48.12, Shana Court off Grace Hill Road. I would like a motion to open the public hearing on that ordinance. Motion, please.
Bless you.
So moved.
May I have a second on
Second.
that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. Public hearing is open. Anyone wishing to address the council, please approach, stating your name and address for our records.
Michelle Arminio, 9 Nathaniel Street in Monroe. Okay, this is an ordinance for the basin. How many acres is this one?
Mr. Weinberg.
Got it, everyone?
Sorry.
Council President, just under 6.5 acres.
And is this going to go on the open space inventory? Considered
please.
part of the open space?
Council President, the deed for dedication of a stormwater basin.
Right. But do we include this in our open space resource inventory?
I'm not sure that it can be, because it has, to the extent that it has a stormwater facility on it, I'm not sure that it can be.
Okay, well, that's sort of important for this because we talk about 50% open space in Monroe that this council and administration for years has been touting. And I'd like to know when and if these are considered part of the open space inventory. I have an objection to that as
Well, they're
as a
yeah,
citizen.
what they are is they're part of the stormwater,
That I
stormwater
understand.
management system. So then the only reason, and to tell you the truth, Mark and I haven't had this conversation, so we're kind of having it in public.
That's
We
okay.
don't
That-
always
that-
put them on. No, we're fine. We don't always put them on the open space inventory because depending on what infrastructure is actually in the detention basin, right? We have to be concerned that we have to maintain it, we have to go into it, and we can't be in a position where we put it on the open space inventory and it would prevent us from maintaining it as a detention basin, which is what we.
Well, and that's acceptable, and it should be a discussion.
Doesn't mean it's not preserved. It just means that it can't
Well,
be
I
on the open
understand,
space
but
inventory.
again, the difference between a stormwater basin and just a regular basin and something that's open space for just pure open space, there's two different things, and I would think by the time it comes to an ordinance, it should be specifically explained and distinguished, because over the last 20 years that I've been coming here, that has been a question I've always had, and the answer is these things end up on the open space inventory, and I think it is not really acceptable to me that we count this as our 50% of open space in Monroe. I think that's a little, so my question is, if it is considered on the open space resource inventory, I would object to that. If it's
Well,
a stormwater
that wouldn't
management.
be in this ordinance in any event.
Well,
Whether something goes on the open space inventory or not isn't necessarily, we're just accepting the dedication as part
okay,
of
and
the
when
development approval, right?
when you accept the dedication, does it have a deed attached to it?
It does. And it's
So then
attached to
wouldn't
the
it
ordinance.
wouldn't the language be in the deed?
No.
Well,
That's
when
not
does
how-
it become?
That's not how you put things on the open space inventory.
Okay, so how is it put on the?
How things are put on the open space inventory, the ROSI, which everybody calls it, right, is actually the exhibit to a deed of dedication that is between the township and the Green Acres program. So when we say put things on an open space inventory, we mean we add it to that schedule and we record a new deed of dedication. So that's the mechanism for doing that. It's not in this circumstance where we accept the deed that somebody gives to us because it's a detention basin that has to be maintained as part of the stormwater infrastructure.
And
Those are two different processes.
this becomes a taxpayer maintained by taxpayer
That
funds.
part of it, I'm gonna.
I can answer that.
Council President, yes, there's a
Yes,
basin
please.
that's maintained. The developer of the 9 lots had paid the contribution in accordance with our ordinance to maintain that into perpetuity.
Oh, could
So
you
a
tell,
contribution is made by the developer to maintain it into an escrow fund. That's how we maintain them.
and what developer was that, if I may
This
ask?
was Monarch Woods. It consisted of 9 single-family homes.
Okay, and it's not really a contribution, it's based on their approval for the development, is
No,
that correct? The
It's a
application,
dedication, correct. Much like when people dedicate
But
roads. I don't consider when somebody gives us a road that it's a contribution. I think it's a dedication.
but it's necessary in
Oh, of
order
course. Yes,
to
yes,
build the
yes.
development.
Yes,
That stormwater basin is necessary for the development.
correct.
So it's really,
It's a
okay,
dedication
now
and
we're
not a
just being
contribution.
semantic.
Yeah, correct.
It's a requirement under the ordinance that there are
Thank
public
you.
roads, so we maintain the
It's
stormwater
also a
basin.
requirement under the state residential
Right,
site improvement
right.
standards.
Again, I would just say that I would object to this being considered open space. Because open space, I think to most people, and why we have an open space fund, is either recreational open space, passive open space that's good for recharge and all that kind of thing. So that would be my objection.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your comments and your question. Anyone else wishing to speak to us about this, please? If I seeing and hearing no other commenters, I would like a motion to close the public hearing. Motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second on that
Second.
motion? Second, thank you. All in favor? Or any opposed? Nay. This public hearing is closed. I would like a motion to adopt ordinance 04-2023-012. Motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero,
Yes.
Councilman Markel,
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel,
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura,
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. Ordinance 04-2023-013 is an ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank. I'd like a motion to open the public hearing on this. So,
So moved.
thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Therefore, the public hearing is now open. Anyone wishing to address the council referencing this ordinance only, please come forward now, stating your name and address for our record. Hearing none, seeing none. I'd like a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
May I have a second on that, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Therefore, the public hearing is closed, and I would like a motion to adopt ordinance 04-2023-013, please.
Motion.
Thank you. Second on that motion.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero,
Yes.
Councilman Markel,
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel,
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura,
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. She's still smiling. Then Ordinance 04-2023-015 is a bond ordinance providing for the acquisition of property for use as open space in and by the Township of Monroe in the County of Middlesex, New Jersey, appropriating $2,440,000, therefore, and authorizing the issue of $2,323,800 bonds or notes of the Township to finance part of the cost thereof. This corresponds with Ordinance 04-2023-016. I'd like a motion to open the public hearing on this ordinance, please.
So moved.
Thank you. A second on that.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Or any opposed? No. Public hearing is now open. Anyone wishing to address the council about this issue, please come forward now, stating your name and address for our records.
Shel Arminio, 9 Nathaniel Street, and once again, I rise to discuss this, and it says for open space. Is there anything in the ordinance that says that for municipal use or for municipal use?
No, this unlike the previous one, this is purchased with open space trust funds. So it would be deed dedicated for open space, not part of the deed as mentioned previously. That was not our, land that was actually donated to us. So this will be purchased. This will be deed restricted. And as I mentioned earlier, we're working with the county and the state to fund part of this as well, which we hope to have news on later this year.
That was my next question. Do we have a percentage of what we like the state and the county would also take this from their open space trust fund? Would that be, Madam?
Council President, if I could, yes, we've So we're pursuing 3 different avenues. One is we've reached out to the county, which can at times match our funds as they've done in the past, and that's within their discretion. So we reached out to Rick Lear about applying for this through their Open Space Trust Fund. As mentioned earlier, the next round of Green Acres, once we have it in our possession, we can apply for it through the Green Acres process, and we've also tried to apply through another state fund as well. And obviously is to mitigate the cost to ourselves and have a partner in sharing in it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, I would appreciate the Green Acres tends to be a more, a fund that is more preserved, although we did lose Green Acres when they built the school in the park. So what would be, do we have like a approximate percentage interest of what that bond would be? Have we talked about that yet? Because I know the interest rates are going up, correct?
Mr. Weinberg.
Correct. So obviously, it would, upon purchase, if we do move forward to purchase it, it would go into something called bond anticipation notes, which are 1-year notes, and then ultimately would be turned into permanent financing. As I've reported to this board before, we have gotten some permanent financing over the last 4 years of around 2% on our long-term debt, which is just extraordinary. Even now, permanent financing is still at about 3.5%, which historically is not that high and reasonable for municipalities. So it all depends on the timing and when we ultimately go to permanent financing.
But that's what's out there in the marketplace at this point? Correct.
At this point, permanent financing is about 3.6 this month. 3.5, 3.6.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. Anyone else wishing to address the council regarding this 04-2023-015? Seeing and hearing none, I'd like a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
May I have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor of closing the public hearing?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Therefore, I would also like to request a motion to adopt 04-2023-015. Please.
So
motion.
moved.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. What? No questions. Ordinance 04-2023-016. This ordinance authorizing the acquisition of Block 75, Lot 15, on the official tax map of the Township of Monroe, more commonly known as 405 Spotswood Gravel Hill Road. I'd like a motion to open the public hearing, please.
So moved.
Thank you. A second.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Public hearing is now opened. Anyone wishing to address the council on this issue, please come forward now, stating your name and address for our records. Seeing and hearing none, may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Thanks again. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? May I therefore have, no, therefore may I have a motion to adopt the ordinance 04-2023-016. Motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you. A second on that.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. Item 6 of the ordinance for introduction is 05-2023-017, amending and supplementing Chapter 122, Article 13 of the Code of the Township of Monroe to authorize the police to enforce Title 39 of the New Jersey Motor Vehicle Code in Regency at Monroe. Motion, please.
Motion.
Thank you. A second.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. 05-2023-018 is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 122, Article 13 of the Code of the Township of Monroe to authorize the police to enforce Title 39 of the New Jersey Motor Vehicle Code in fairways at Forsgate. Motion.
So moved.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Thanks again. Roll call, please.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. Item 7 are the resolutions for consideration under the consent agenda R5 2023-128 through R5 2023-146, accepting 4, please.
Accepting R5 2023-133 and R5 2023-138.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. Item 8 is resolutions removed from the consent agenda for consideration. Motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Abstain.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. Thank you all. We will move to the administrator's report, please.
Yes.
Mr. Weinberg.
Thank you, Council President. I'm going to ask Joe Stroing to give us an update on the pump station and force main from BFI, if you would, Joe.
Mr. Stroy.
Was on.
To announce that this project, which is going on within the township over the last 2 years, that's involved a considerable amount of design and construction coordination, especially given the supply chain issues that the nation has experienced, is nearing completion. The pipeline, which is double-walled, high-density polyethylene pipe, was installed over 8,000 feet from the landfill to our pump station number 6 via horizontal directional drilling to minimize any disruption to the roadways and the underground assets that we have. That is complete. And the pump station, which is going to transport the leachate from the landfill to our pump station via that force main, is about 95 to 96% complete. So we're very optimistic that by the middle of June, this total project will be completed and actively operational for the benefit of the residents of Inwood Estates and the township.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Just want to do a couple of brief updates, and sometimes I steal Mark's thunder, so I apologize. Very excited about the 2023 road projects, which include over 4 miles of paving and some much-needed improvements here at the municipal complex and over at the EMS station. Because of nine bidders on the project, some good asphalt pricing, we were not only able to award our base award, but our 4 alternates as well, all for about $1.47 million. And I think that's also the result of the interest in people bidding on it and the time in which we're bidding. So thank you to Mark and the professionals, and we'll be out there paving away this summer all throughout the township. I went over today to the recycling yard. It is really remarkable how much improved that looks, and I don't know that everyone realizes, maybe they do, just how many people visit the recycling yard and what name they may use for it, which is not always recycling yard. But we try and stick with recycling yard, and it really is beautiful. There's some great concrete pads in there, which will be great for people who are bringing, additional items that they want to drop off there. And it should be up and running in about 2 weeks. Obviously, as you know, we were closed on Friday and Monday for paving. That's complete, so we're back reopening. But everything should be in shape in about 2 weeks. I want to thank the mayor and council for moving that project forward and for using $100,000 in state recycling grants to move that forward. And I think it'll be a welcome improvement over there over by DPW. We also will be setting up our new styrofoam machine, which is a $73,000 grant to shrink foam from a 90 to 1 ratio in a way that it can be reused. And so that's being set up over the next 2 weeks, and that'll be there as well, in addition to all the other things that we're used to having there. Also stopped by last week to take a look at the Senior Center Pavilion. If any of you have been out there, it's really quite beautiful. And that'll start getting some supplies within it. And then as the nicer weather comes along, that'll get some great use to have even more outside activities. So if you find yourself in the Senior Center, check it out. It's really, really beautiful. Excited that we have another shared services agreement on the agenda. We're transferring three older cars to Fire District 1 for training, always trying to work together where we can. As I mentioned earlier, we have on this agenda the third-party ambulance billing program, the 3.06%, which is just slightly above what it was previously. And this helps support, not everyone may realize this, but that we have 5 active EMS stations throughout the town. One of the few communities that has such a large assortment of 24/7 operations and professionally trained ambulances. We really are shining amongst the state. We also have an agreement with Robert Wood Johnson to have a 24/7 paramedic always within the town. And so if something happens, we're able to respond not just with one of our EMS units, but also with the paramedic unit, saving important time. And just a shout out to them, because this third-party billing is super important. And as I mentioned earlier, we never balance bill within the town. We do when we go outside the town for mutual aid, but that helps us keep up with the almost 12,000 calls that we deal with from EMS at our 5 stations. Speaking of excellent departments, just a quick thank you to the library. This was Library Week, so I just want to mention that. As many people know, and it's been referred to as the crown jewel, there's just so much happening there, so many activities, and if you're not there, you should be there. And a special thank you to our library, who makes everyone welcome and warm. And then I know the mayor's going to talk about the budget later, so I'll have him hit that, but I do want to thank our CFO, George Lang, and our budget officer, Lori Ola, for their hard work, and look forward to the the budget hearing next month. So thank you very much, Council President.
You're most welcome. Thank you. Mr. Razzamoni.
Nobody ever claps for me.
Thank you, Council. Thank you, Council President. At the risk of repeating some of the things Alan said, I'm going to go through my list, an update on a few of the projects in town. Our public works yard, or recycling yard, as Alan mentioned, as well as the softball parking lot and the construction office parking lots. That paving was completed today, and the striping was, they were working on the striping later this afternoon. And as well as there's some ancillary items like bollards that they're installing at the head of the parking stalls at the construction yard. So they're wrapping that up, in the next day or two, and then looking forward to the reopening of the recycling yard in about 2 weeks after they move all their equipment back into place. Next, the 2023 roads. It was a great bid. As Alan said, we had 9 bidders. With the alternates, we're fortunate enough that the pricing came in quite low, considering. And we were able to award all 4 alternates for that. That included about 16 roads, as well as the township parking lot, both in front and in back and on the side here, as well as the EMS parking lot. So we're looking to get that started in June and July, and wrap that up during the summer months. Next, the demolition work on the 2 homes, the one on Docks Corner and the one on Mounts Mills Road, that was awarded at the previous meetings. The contractor for that is working on securing the building permits, and we're hoping to get that started real soon as well. And lastly, an update on the Veterans Park, the ADA restrooms, and the park maintenance facility. That work is ongoing. They're underway on the roof, and the siding is going on as we speak, and we're hoping for completion in June. There's been some delays with back orders on some of the materials, as it seems to be pretty much the standard in the industry. So as soon as we get those materials, we'll be able to wrap that project up. But again, it's looking like June at this point. And that's my report.
Thank you. We'll begin with council reports. Councilman DePiero, do you wish to start us off?
Sure, thank you. I just had a question for Joe. He mentioned about the BFI and everything getting done. Are we on budget? Have you any change orders or anything, Joe? That I know the construction's gone up, but are there any change orders on this project?
No, there are not.
So we're doing everything at cost, pretty much what we estimated when we gave the contract almost 2 years ago.
Yes, Councilor.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I wanted to point out, one of our residents talked about open space, and I've been trying to get a list of an updated open space list. There's 3 or 4 out there that are floating around, and there are some things on there like Forest Gate Country Club, BFI, the landfill, even though we own it still. And there's schools, and there's detention basins, and there's a lot of things that are on there. So as our attorney said before, I'd like to get an updated list on what is actually open space. And we just went through the master plan, and that 50% number is overinflated because as our master plan, it was like in the 35% range that they were talking about, and they would like to be at 50%. But let's try to get one list instead of 3 or 4. If we can get that to the public and also maybe on our website, that would be something that can help everybody out. I wanted to thank the clerk's office for the vote by mail. Mailbox is open. I want to thank the clerk's office for taking care of that. I attended the League of Women Voters. They had a meeting in this room, and their guest was Judy Olbreeze. When you talk about a township employee who volunteered basically her whole life, she sacrificed a lot in her life to make Monroe have what we have in our first aid. And anybody that's been here, I mean, she made a comment. She gave away my age because she said she was taking care of me since I was 6. And, so she kind of gave away my age, shy a few years. She said she's going to retire soon after 53 years. Somebody gives 53 years of their life to a community, and the stories that she told us, the League of Women Voters meeting should actually be either on our website where they can view it, or it should be on the channels 32 I watch with Verizon. But that's something that everybody in our community, at one time or another, we have to call for first aid. And as Alan said before, with 12,000 calls that they make, it's just incredible how they keep it all together on 7/24, 365 days. And Judy Olbreeze is a big part of that. And I just wanted to give her a shout out, and I know she'll be here, and there'll be a lot of tissues passing around that night because she made a lot of friends. She had a lot of, she touched a lot of families, and she gave up her life. She really did as a volunteer. And then she explained to us how it became a paid. In the first 2 years, Bill Buchanan and her, because they had a mayor and council that wasn't cooperating, they actually funded the first aid for 2 years out of their own pocket. So when you do something like that, as our council president said, how the world is changing, and then when you hear a story like that, I think it's something that needs to get out to our community, and maybe we can get that meeting. They taped it, they put it in Concordia, but maybe we can get it in other communities and get it on our website because it's something that everybody should see and hear. Bordentown Turnpike, I visited past couple days with some flooding. I sent some pictures. I spoke to Diane Smith again yesterday. It's something that I know I spoke to Mark, and he made a recommendation that maybe DPW go out and clean out the ditches and try to get some additional flow of water so that when we get a large amount of water that these houses and these homes don't get flooded, and maybe we can help out. And I appreciate that, Mark, for your comment. And I did send a few photos. I attended Wednesday. I got there a little late, but I attended the Board of Ed, and they unanimously passed a budget. It's about $149 million plus, and the place was packed with teachers. So contract negotiations are on their way, and I just hope that we can maintain a lot of the good teachers that are here, and we can keep them here because over the years we've seen them come and go, and we know times are tough, but hopefully they can get a fair share contract, and the students that were here today, it's a lot of part of that is the teachers and the families that make it possible. So I just wanted to, I'm glad that the board approved the budget, and hopefully now they can move forward. I had a question for our attorney, because we talk about open space. Before I got here, there was a purchase made of a golf range, approximately $3 million was the last purchase price. We bonded for it. We gave it to the Board of Ed. It's sitting there because of the bond referendum. It's no surprise. But I'm just concerned in a way that we're paying a bond for that. We don't own it. The Board of Ed owns it, which is a different body. And I just look at like the 1.8 million we gave for the track and field, where this money's coming from, open space. And then my question is to our attorney is this similar to like we're going to give $11 million for VA project? And how do we bond things and then we give it away? We give away the asset that was basically collateral.
Well, first, I think you mentioned three different types of.
Correct.
One is that the council and mayor at the time made a determination.
I can't hear you, Lou.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm trying to respectfully talk to the councilman. And so I'm assuming that the council and the mayor at the time decided that they would spend that $3 million to buy a piece of land to give to the Board of Education.
Can I say something on that, Lou? Sorry, not to cut you off, just to add, a resolution was given to the mayor, because I was here at the time, requesting that the land be purchased by the Board of Ed as a result of them asking
I
us.
understand it. But in any event, certainly, so that using that one as an example, that is an example of the use of municipal funds to aid the Board of Education. That's an appropriate use of municipal funds if they want to do that. So that's the first thing. The second one you mentioned was the veterans.
The track and field. The track and field. We gave like 1.8 million at an open space.
Well, once again, that's a joint. It's an open
Shared
space.
services
It's shared services with the Board of Education to build a recreational facility. So that's an appropriate use of open space funds. You mentioned the $11 million for the veterans home.
Correct.
That's something that's wholly different, right? It is. I believe that we still own the land. It is leased to them. But more importantly, is that money came out of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, and as part of your Mount Laurel settlement, you agreed to donate that money to get those, what are now, I guess, 87 affordable housing units built. So that was the use of that money was taken from developers for the purpose of building affordable housing. So you partnered with a non-for-profit who built it, and they are providing affordable housing. So once again, that is a constitutional obligation, and also an obligation that you have under a court order. So you mentioned those are different circumstances.
Right, because I'm trying
so
to
you understand the different circumstances.
Yeah, I appreciate it. What I'm trying to figure out is impact fees. It's kind of like
there are no such thing as impact.
You always hear about impact fees,
but there are no such thing as impact.
Right. That's what
I
everybody
just
says.
Want to make sure that when people say, "Why don't you collect impact fees?"
Right.
It's because they're illegal in New Jersey.
Right, but when you look at it from here, sitting here in this seat, I look at it like we collect money for COA, we collect money from developers, as Mark said before, from detention basins. We collect $1,000 per unit and all of that. And we have a fund. We have a fund that maintains it, which has like $1.5 million to maintain the 80-something basins that we have by now. But when the school needs a boiler from 1936, what's not saying that we can't help out? If we helped out with a track and field, we helped out purchasing a piece of property, and then we're giving $11 million for 87 homes, for VA, and then what's there to say with impact fees when a school goes and says we have a boiler that's 1936, we don't have the funds?
Well, Councilman, I don't, and I mean this with all due respect. You said like 5 different things, and then you threw impact fees in there. So impact fees are generally illegal in New Jersey since, I guess, the mid-'60s. That you can't just simply say to a developer, well, you're coming in, so now we want you to build a bunch of roads, we want you to build a school, we want you to build this. Those are illegal in New Jersey, so you can't do that, right? So whatever it is that your other question was, impact fees has nothing to do with that. That being said, there are obviously the field that we did is an example of a shared services agreement between the school and the municipality, and there are a whole host of circumstances where you can do that. Remember, it's all taxpayers' money, right? It just comes out of a different pot. we have some less restrictions as to how we can raise money, the most important one being that we don't have to go to the voters to do that. So I think that there's probably a history here, and there's a history in a lot of towns, of cooperation between Board of Educations and municipalities to get projects like that done. Municipal fields are an important, are something that gets done because they're commonly shared between, that has a Board of Education purpose and it has a recreation purpose. So that's why it's done. There are some limits, right? There are some limits to what we can do. We can't build a school and bond for it unless it also has some public purpose aside from just being a school. So we do have some limits, and those limits can get stretched in different directions, but some of those questions as to where those limits are may be appropriate to be to the Board of Education and their attorney. But from our side, the circumstances that you've been outlining, they're not common. They're all different ways in which we're allowed to spend money, and they're not. Once again, none of them has to do anything with an impact fee.
Well, we did the tennis courts. That was the first one. Over
Right.
$300,000 for the tennis courts to
Good
refurbish the
example.
tennis courts.
But the
As
reason
an
you
example.
can do a tennis courts is because the Board of Education uses it for kids, and then we use it for everybody else.
Mhm.
So it's a classic example of, that's why recreation fields are so easy. Recreation facilities are so easy because they're commonly shared between Board of
Right.
Education.
That's a great example, and because we use the schools, we use the schools. So
That's why we can do
and,
these
and our
things.
children use the schools, and our children that were here today in the community use the schools. But we use the schools also. There's plays, there's religious events there. There's a lot of different things in our schools that all our community.
Well, that's the religious
uses it.
events isn't us using. This is a very detailed and esoteric, kind of area of the law. But you use some examples here. Of course, kids use school, but it's the Board of Education's responsibility to educate those children. So to that extent, it's not the municipal government's part of it. Because religious groups rent out schools, that doesn't really have anything to do with us. That's private people rent out the schools, and that's between the schools and they have fees that they pay to schools, and that's what it is. But there are lots of areas. There are hundreds of areas where Board of Educations and municipalities can share services and cooperate on projects. And what you're just outlining is the analysis we go through every time we do that. So if we were going to, if we were going to build something at a school, we go through the analysis of how it is that we can justify when we pass a bond ordinance that it also serves a municipal purpose and not just a Board of Education purpose. And, Mark has been probably involved in these projects in other towns. He's been involved in some of them here. I know I have. That there are all kinds of levels of cooperation between Board of Educations and municipalities, assuming, and this is the big assumption, that they're willing partners to do that. So
Okay.
the answer is yeah. Like-minded people, if they get together and they agree, can do a lot of these things.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so I sent a few emails this month on signs, and I just wanted to shout out to the administration and also to DPW for taking care of a lot of street signs that were missing, and they got them up already. Just wanted to say thank you, and for the bulk pickups that they started for our community. I just wanted to put a shout out to DPW, along with the paving. I was down there Friday, Saturday, and then again today. As Mark and Alan said, it looks like a really good project, and looks like the recycling facility, the softball, and the construction are going to have a nice complex for the years to come. Costco Drive, we have no parking signs up, but I would think that if, Alan, if you could reach out to the chief and try to get more enforcement. I was down there today. There's a lot of trash along the sides of the roads, on Cranberry Road, Costco Drive, and trucks parked all over the place, even though it says no parking. But I didn't see any enforcement down there. So maybe you could pass that along to our chief. And that's all I have. And welcome.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Councilman. Councilman Markel.
Okay, I'm going to make this a little shorter than the previous councilman. I'd just like to say, people don't recognize me because I'm wearing a tie. It's Mike Markel. And my baseball cap. I just want to say it's an honor that I was nominated and elected to this position. And all I can say is I think that basically everybody here in Monroe has one goal, and is to make this the best town in the country, in the world. Everybody's main concern is family. Our families come first. Everybody's family, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or whatever. Our families come first, so we have to make this town work for everybody's family, whether it be in education, recreation, safety, everything. That's my goal. My only wish is I've been on a lot of zoning boards in New York and planning and so forth, and very often people are against something we vote on or the panel votes on, but they don't know the whole story. And I just wanted to say, look, find out the facts and then make your decision. Because one of my favorite expressions is no matter how flat the pancake, there's two sides to it. So you got to know both sides. So I personally appreciate every person that comes up here and speaks, and I listen to them. I'm going to listen to them. I'm not going to turn them off and act like they don't exist. But I'm going to do the best I can on this council. I'm going to make any decision and vote I make is going to be the best decision I can make with the information I have. And I hope I'm going to try not to disappoint anybody here in Monroe. And that's all I really want to say. And thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, and welcome. Councilwoman Siegel, I recognized you with your tie on really well. Councilwoman Siegel.
Thank you, Council President. I first want to start by congratulating Mike Markell on your appointment and welcome to the council. I look forward to working with you as we move forward. Just a couple things I want to share and give some updates on. This past weekend, the Concordia Green Committee had their first Green Fair, which I want to congratulate them. It was a really nice event. Despite the rain and the awful weather, they had such a great turnout and lots of good information. So congratulations to all of you. And I wanted to also thank the Human Relations Committee for hosting the Holocaust Remembrance Day back on April 18th. It was very moving to hear the stories from those dark days in history from the survivors. If you didn't get a chance to attend it in person, I highly encourage you to watch the video that's on the township website. It was really moving, and it's great to share this with your family and the younger students too, because it really opened your eyes to a little bit about history, and especially in this day and age. And then I wanted to also give a couple updates from the commissions. They're all very busy that I liaison to. The Environmental Commission, for those that are interested, they are inviting volunteers to participate in a project naturalization, which aims to create natural islands of native flowers and plants to boost the butterfly and certain insect populations. They're doing this activity on May 7th and May 13th. So if you're interested, please do check out the Environmental Commission website for more information and to sign up to volunteer. And then the Historic Preservation is starting their open houses for the year. The first one is on May 7th at the Dye Farm property. And in addition to the tours, this year they're doing something different. They're having guest speakers come to each open house. So for the month of May, they have Jason Martin, owner of the Old Church Honeybee Farm. So please mark your calendars. The open house is from 1 to 4 on the 7th. And a little update around our Youth Advisory Commission. The students have been working hard, and this month is their last meeting, and they will be presenting their projects that they've been working on to the mayor and council a little later this month. So we'll be sending out an invite for that. And then I do want to encourage everyone, if you haven't participated in any of these wellness campaign activities, the mayor and I did a little Zumba, which was a lot of fun, but I really encourage you to try some of these activities. It's a great way to meet different people, try something new. I think Tai Chi is coming up next, if I remember correctly, so I encourage you to come out. Oh, and chair yoga. Yeah, chair yoga. So thank you. That's my update.
You're welcome. Mr. Ventura, please.
Thank you, Madam President. First, I would just like to again mention, as I do at most of the meetings, it's now been over a year that the Russians have invaded Ukraine. And even now, all this time later, there are still new rocket strikes in residential neighborhoods. There was one just a few days ago in which 32 people were killed, including children. So I mentioned that. I urge our federal government to continue to support the Ukrainian people and the hard work that they do. And there are also people in our town that try and support the citizens of Ukraine who are suffering. So anything we could do to help those people, I think, is a good thing. I am part of the Rec Advisory Committee in town, and we had our monthly meeting about a week or two ago, and it was probably one of the best meetings I've had in over 2 years that I've been going to the Rec Advisory Committee. Almost everybody was there. Gary was there, and we have so many things. So many people were there. I could probably go on for a long time, but in the interest of expediency, let me say this: you don't realize just how much and how hard these people work. Right? We have softball, basketball, volleyball, soccer, ice hockey, lacrosse. We have a special sports unit that we have wrestling, table tennis. We have seniors. We also include our community gardens that the others work with. We have our cheerleaders. Listen to this. We have over 800 kids in soccer. We have over 300 in baseball. Over 200 are on Wolverine cheerleaders, and there's a waiting list for that. On the first day that they put out the applications for rec camp this summer, 430 out of the possible 800 people, 430 kids for the first day on rec camp. And the thing is that these guys that are doing it, the softball guy, the baseball guy, all these other guys that are out there doing it, they don't get paid for it. It's a volunteer thing. Something that they do out of the goodness of their heart. A lot of them, of course, have kids in those particular sports, and that's what causes them to be involved with it. But they do a lot, and I really appreciate the stuff that they did. A couple of particular things. The special sports, which is run by Sue Reiser, is having what they call the Walk, Run, and Roll event, which is going to be May 13th from 12 to 3 p.m. Anybody and everybody is invited to come out, and if you want to walk around, it's at the high school track. You want to walk around, you don't have to walk the whole time. Walk around once, you can say hello to some people. It interacts the special needs people along with the rest of the community, and it's a wonderful event. So it's just one of those nice things that they do. Another one of the nice things that we do is the seniors group has on June 2nd the Senior Games. Now, this is where various seniors throughout the township intermingle with high school kids. They don't play the seniors against the high school kids. They mix up. They're both on the same side. But it sets forth a nice thing, and I think those are the kind of things that are very nice when kids can see, and interact with other people that are a bit older, maybe a little wiser here and there now and then. It's just a nice event because it helps people understand each other. So I did want to mention that, and I thought that we had so many things I could go on and on about the Rec Advisory, but it was a wonderful event, and it just shows how hard people work, how much they care about the town. I also want to compliment the Joe on the fine job with the BFI. You had no idea how hard that was and how much we were up against, and a lot of people were really having a lot of difficulty for quite a while with this foul odor that was coming, and the town, the direction of the mayor took the bull by the horns to, when they saw a problem, to address the problem and take care of it. Now it's finally reaching fruition, so that's a wonderful thing, and then we won't see all those big tank trucks coming through town once it's all done. So that'll be another nice thing. I was very happy that the council passed the for the purchase of the Garvey's property. That's 10 acres. That is open space. And, you know, there's always a balance here because we're buying something. It costs the town money to buy it. But on the other hand, it'll prevent some developer from coming in and buying that property, which if the developer bought it, if the developer bought it and they wanted to present a plan where there was some affordable housing involved, the planning board would have a very difficult time opposing it because of the nature of the way the laws are and the way things could be. So by us taking the bull by the horns again and purchasing that, it'll prevent a developer from coming along. So maybe we spend a little more money now, but we save later on and keeps the pressure off the Board of Ed. We had our master plan last year. The people said they wanted more open space and they wanted less crowding of the schools. This is a small step that goes forward to addressing that problem. My last point, I want to welcome to the council Mike Markel. I think you're going to find Mike's a very hard worker. He's a good guy. He's a decent guy, and he will be an asset to the council. So welcome, Mike. I appreciate it. My honor to. Thank you very much, Madam President.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Before I give the mayor this microphone, or his own, I wanted to advise everyone here that the next council meeting has been rescheduled. And it was supposed to be Wednesday, June 7th. It is now going to be Wednesday, May 31st, 2023. So while that will appear on corrected calendars, those of you who are here, please note that now, that you have that information. For many of us, by the way, when we heard Judy speak, one of the things she referenced was that when she began this EMS from her garage, I believe, she would go places and find that her truck had been damaged, and reminding her women were not allowed in the ambulance. Women couldn't set foot in certain of the firehouses, and she was abused verbally on more than one occasion, and so was her property abused. The time she has changed, we hope, but that she was indefatigable and continued to do this very wonderful venture that gained statewide praise for her. Statewide praise for the EMS service that we have and utilize here in town. That was very important that we all know that. I'm going to ask our mayor, please give his report.
Again, thank you, Madam President, for allowing me to provide some report and some commentary. Got a lot to cover tonight. I do have to say I'm sorry it's end of the semester brain for me, so I will try my best. First and foremost, I'd like to welcome Councilman Markle. Councilman, you're stepping in, which is a unique way to become a member of the council. I stepped in as mayor, so I've experienced that scenario. Councilman Van Zura as well. When I became mayor, he stepped in as well. So it's a unique position, and it's quick, right? All of a sudden, here you are. And obviously, we need to thank everyone involved in this process, because it's a process that brought us to this moment. And I want to welcome you. I think you have enough awareness of the town and the council in how we govern. We provide good government. We have shown leadership across the board, the council here. We've shown that we work together. We work as a team. We set goals. And it's that team effort that always gets us to those goals. So being a member of the council for many years, now as mayor, it's an honor and privilege to work with all of these members. And it's extra special to have you here, Councilman, because it's one extra Mets fan on the council. So
Very important.
We need all the help we can get. So with that being said, I'd like to start with my budget message, as it was introduced tonight. So today, I'm proposing a 2023 municipal budget that keeps the municipal tax rate flat at 0.489 cents per $100 assessed value. That is the same rate as last year, 2022, and it's actually lower than the budget in 2020, which was 0.43 cents. This would be the third consecutive year without a tax increase to the municipal tax rate, and it continues to focus on the themes of affordability, property tax relief, and ensuring that the Monroe Township municipal budget remains the second lowest overall effective tax rate in the county. A public hearing will be set for May 31st. Obviously, including in the budget, as part of the budget, our residential water and sewer rates will remain flat and certainly continue to remain the lowest, not only in the county, but the region as well, which is important. With the growing inflation, the continued economic uncertainty, many residents have tightened their belt. My household is no different. My wife told me we need to tighten our belts, so I tightened the belt. It's the same thing here as mayor. The times that we have lived in, these unprecedented times with the pandemic, the inflation, are living day to day. It was very important for me to keep those themes of affordability and tax relief important. This is my third budget as the mayor, and our team has worked very hard to develop a responsible budget proposal that provides services that we all crave for here in the town and actually expect, but it also keeps that tax flat, again, at 0.489 cents per $100. So among the factors that led to this flat tax rate, one of the most important things that influenced this was our successful contract negotiations with all the township unions. This resulted in important, mutually agreeable healthcare changes and savings. As a result, our budget for healthcare expense is a 0% increase in our 2023 budget. This did not happen in a lot of other municipalities. Because the state health care plan was increased approximately 23%, a joint effort was one of the key reasons we were able to remain flat. Obviously, a big thank you to our administration, our employees, and our unions that all worked together to make this happen. Another reason, obviously, we like to tout is our AA+ bond rating. Over the past few years, the township has refinanced much of our existing debt, saving millions of dollars, and as a result, the debt service is down again in 2023. As I mentioned last year, we aggressively pursued the Federal CARES Act, the American Recovery Act funding, as well as state and county grants, which helped us keep this tax rate flat. Monroe has also expanded share services. Last year was our first full year as part of a county-wide radio system network, which has significantly reduced both the capital and operating expenses of managing our own radio network. Of note, our commercial ratables continue to be added, thus stabilizing residential municipal taxes for the present, but also for the future. And finally, much credit goes to the citizens of Monroe who pay their taxes. We are at a 99% tax collection rate, which is quite impressive. So obviously the citizens of Monroe are part of that formula and that process that brought us to this flat tax rate. I would be remiss if I did not thank the Township Council, a partner in this process, in managing this. I also want to thank the administration and a hearty thank you to Alan Weinberg, George Lang, Loriola, and everyone in the department who worked feverishly, as well as all of the directors. This just does not happen overnight. It is a many months long process where the directors have input, access, and discussion to bring us to where we're at. I'd also like just to provide an update on the Anchor Property Tax Relief Program, which was available to all the Monroe Township residents who make less than $250,000. 1.7 million residents will receive their Anchor Property Tax Relief checks this spring. I know I did. We worked hard to expand this program, and I can't wait to see exactly how much property tax relief came to the Monroe residents. It should be many millions of dollars and possibly well over 10 million. This program is proposed to be renewed in the state budget for next year, and I certainly will continue to ensure that this happens again. A couple other comments and updates. Obviously, with Joe Stroy's report on the BFI pump station, I can't thank you enough, Joe, for leading it to the point we are. It was just thinking about it this morning. Long ago, when I came on board as mayor, and we're all on the Hill in Inwood Estates, talking this through with all of our council members there, and to come to this point, I'm very, very excited in regards to that. I know Councilman DePiero had also mentioned about Judy Olbrys as well. I think we all have stories, and we're all kind of anticipating that bittersweet moment when Judy does, decide that this is going to be finally it. I had the pleasure, if it was last year, maybe the year before, it was a Mayor Delina show in which we had Rich Morris and Judy Olbrys on, and Judy was able to tell that story. So if you do go onto the township website, you can probably take a look at that. I was always in marvel that Judy would use her own station wagon to go out as the township ambulance. So that's something. As was mentioned before regarding the master plan, certainly excited as we move forward with some of the suggestions and surveys, in particular for our parks and recreation. And again, this is a result of our master plan survey of adding some more recreational, much needed recreational opportunities for our residents. With that being said, I'm excited about the new Monroe Senior Softball League starting this month. Hats off to the recreation and resident organizers. Anyone interested in senior softball, please call the rec department. And obviously, I was happy to see that on the resolution as well. Just, again, expanding our services. Speaking of shared services, I would be remiss not to make a comment on government at its best when it comes to shared services. And I was proud to be part of one of the most recent shared services with the Board of Ed. And, Mr. Raynone talked about, good partners. And the partnership I had with the board president, Michelle Arminio, about, discussing how we can have shared services, which is usually the benefits are just so positive for the community. And out of discussion came ideas, and out of ideas came action, and ultimately we're able to work together for shared services for the turf field. And you'll see it used by the high school. You'll see it used by the town. And that's the essence of shared services. Councilman DePiero brought up the upcoming walk and roll event, and that's going to be on the field there. So that's government at its best, and that's what we all strive for, obviously. On the agenda tonight, I was obviously was pleased to see the 10-year state-of-the-art police and public safety equipment purchase. This 10-year plan will update our equipment, including new body cams, tasers for every sworn officer, new HD cameras in all the vehicles, automatic license plate readers in all marked vehicles. This is an important safety investment and will improve our equipment, our technology, enhance our crime prevention efforts, and provide a stronger link with the county and state law enforcement. Regarding our police department, I encourage our incoming 7th and 8th graders to join the Monroe Township Police Academy this summer, the week of July 10th. It's a great program. Please check out the Monroe Township website. Councilwoman Siegel had mentioned the mayor's wellness. And if it wasn't for mayor's wellness, I think my legs would have given out earlier, trying to squat down for the pictures. I practice what I preach regarding recreation. I've done chair yoga. Obviously, with the bike rides, I like to ride the bike. I ride the bike. But there was this thing called Zumba. And in fact, I incorrectly referred to it as Roomba a couple times, and I understand that's some sort of vacuum that cleans rooms. So I tried Zumba, and the instructor just kept pulling me up to the front of the class, and I realized I have absolutely no rhythm. So to counteract the lack of rhythm, I just started jumping around a lot more, and I had to quit halfway through. But then the instructor just kept calling me back, and I would go up there and I would go, woo! And then I would gradually make my way to the back. But again, as the mayor's wellness campaign, I needed to participate. So with that being said, please attend one of the events. The next event is May 15th, which is chair yoga at the library, and June 3rd is Tai Chi at the Avenue Veterans K Park. Any interest, please just call my office. This is Military Appreciation Month. There is a lot of events going on. Please check out the website. But in particular, you know, this has always been a very important day for all of us to attend the Memorial Day services on May 29th, which will be held at the Veterans Park on Avenue K at 9:30. Please, I hope you can join us. And finally, a happy Mother's Day to all that celebrate. It is a beautiful time of the year, and nothing but the best wishes for you all on Mother's Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this point, we are going to open for public comments, folks. I need a motion to open the public comment period.
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Remember, folks, 5 minutes per speaker. Your name and address for the record.
Good evening. Greg Johannesson, 15 Oliver Street, Monroe Township, New Jersey. I would just like to ride the wave on Councilman Terry's words about the Recreation Department. I am one of those volunteers. I've been sitting on the Recreation Advisory Board for 21 years. I volunteer my time. The support the council gives us. Terry comes down to the meetings. The meeting we had the other night, overwhelming attendance. It's really, really good. Shared services, we could not do what we do in recreation if we didn't have shared services. If the Board of Ed didn't let us use their schools, use the track, use that. And we have grown so much. I mean, the kids are overflowing, and we do so much, but we couldn't do it without the support of the council. And I can't thank you and each and every one of you enough for that support. And I'm only one person on that board. And I'm telling you, we truly appreciate the support, right? So thank you so much for that. I just wanted to get that out there. Terry, thank you so much for your support, and it really means a lot to us all. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
a knee replacement 2 weeks ago. So, Tim Esso, 625 Spotswood Gravel Hill Road. Just want to say, as a citizen and taxpayer of Monroe Township, I can sit here and honestly say how truly disappointed I am in Mayor Delina and this administration. Month after month, it just seems as if the state of Monroe is being desecrated by terrible decisions by our mayor and administration. I feel the need to speak up for those who are afraid to speak on their own behalf in fear of retaliation. Mayor Delina, I am not sure if you're aware or have any idea what your lack of fighting for Monroe's fair share of state funding is doing to our school district. The Board of Education passed their budget with much criticism by the community last week because of the lack of increase for our teachers. On top of that, at their previous meeting, they said insurance premiums are going up so high that it created a huge budget deficit if they did not change insurance carriers. Rumors are if there is not an agreement to change insurance carriers, then there will be many teachers who will lose their jobs. This shortfall is all caused because Monroe does not get the state funding it deserves. We have teachers with families now worried if they will even have a job. How will they pay their bills? These are educators who mold our children right here in Monroe year after year for success. These are not million-dollar developers, political pawns, friends of friends looking for jobs, or expecting jobs because they have good soldiers for the Democratic Party. These are selfish human beings making an honest living, an honorable, honest living. They are now in fear. You have been the mayor of Monroe now for 2+ years, and not have once have I seen you, a member of your appointed planning and zoning board, at a Board of Education meeting supporting our children and educators. Not once. You have been updated on the conditions of our schools. In the most recent failed referendum, you rejected to support a position either way. What type of leader does this? Let me tell you what type of leader. A leader who fears losing his biggest supporters. Those supporters belong to the adult communities and, of course, our biggest developers, who are the biggest donors to the party. In my opinion, you are afraid to take on the biggest challenges in fear that power may be lost. What happened to the Steve Delina I knew? Years ago, what happened to the Steve Delina I knew? Who would do the right thing by the people, for the people. You let politics and greed get in the way of what is just and fair to our residents. This is not about me, Steve. Damage is done in my family already. This is about our school district, our teachers, and our children. My wife's a school teacher, and our children went through the schools in Monroe. We need to save our school district from disaster, sooner not later. Here are the facts. It has been shared with the teachers that the school district is saying they cannot afford to keep the same health coverage for their employees. Where they are continuing to negotiate in good faith, they have declared an impasse. You know what that means? If there is no agreement reached, there will be a reduction in staff and teachers throughout the schools of Monroe Township. I know you are well aware of the funding that Monroe receives. We received $11 million last year, an increase of $1.7 million. That is almost the lowest in Middlesex County. I believe it's the second from the bottom, along with the salaries of our teachers being some of the lowest already. Are you aware, Mayor Delina, that school districts such as Newark get $1 billion, Perth Amboy gets $200 million, East Brunswick gets $40 million, North Brunswick gets $46.6 million, Woodbridge, your hometown, where I believe your brother is sitting councilman, gets $103 million in state aid. $103 million. Edison gets 78.5, Carteret gets $50 million, and the list goes on. Mr. Raynon, you had said that, it's not the responsibility of the municipality to fight for Board of Education funding. That may be true, but there's no law stating that the mayor, and this administration can't fight on the steps of Trenton and look for fair funding for our teachers and our educators here in Monroe Township. What you have done, Mayor Delina, about funding Monroe I would tell you what you did. You said you penned a letter to the governor thanking him for the $11 million, never telling him how the lack of fair funding here in Monroe is about to destroy our school district. It is way past overdue that you write a letter to him and his administration and the Department of Education and ask for more funding. We received an increase of $1.7 million. That doesn't even fix the roof at Applegarth School, which is caving in. You have a sitting council member, Uba Prick Siegel, who was on the board of Ed for 3 years and did absolutely nothing, along with Kathy Kapalovich and Steve Ryback, who played politics with our school district instead of fighting for funding that would allow our district to grow and thrive. Are you aware, Mayor DeLena and Council, other than Charlie DiPiero? Charlie DiPiero shows up every
Would you
board
please
meeting.
wrap up
Not
your
one of you supported the
statements?
referendum either way.
Sir,
You're elected to make decisions, not stay quiet for the fear of losing power.
sir, I would
We
ask
have a
that you
board
wrap
of
up,
education
please.
that needs the support of the council and mayor to do what is right, and that is getting on the phone with Trenton and getting us more funding. Our children deserve that. Our teachers deserve that. And every single taxpayer in Monroe deserves that.
All right.
You're out of time, sir. Your time is up. Your comments have been noted.
Okay, thank you very much. One last comment. Before
I don't need an, you are finished, sir.
Did we do background check on Mr. Markle? Open police reports?
Would you please take your seat now, sir?
Sit down.
Just take your seat, sir. Thank you for taking your seat. Is anyone else wishing? Would you please come to the microphone and give us your name and address for the record?
Gary Busman, 7 Monarch Road. I come to all of these council meetings. I have been to Board of Education meetings. I am on the Parks and Recreation Board. I know what goes on in Parks and Recreation, and I completely 100% object to the comments that were just made. This is not a place to air one's dirty laundry. This is a political statement that's being made improperly by a resident. A resident has the right to say what he wants, but the manner in which he is addressing the council and chastising council members for things that they have attempted to do, but under the realm of the municipal government, the Board of Education is the one that gets the money from the state. The state has held up money for ages. Senator Linda Greenstein and our assemblyman have both gone forward to Trenton asking for more money, but they can't get anything from Trenton. Thank you.
Folks, I would ask
Thank
that
you.
you withhold your comments, please. Anyone else wishing to address the body council, please come forward now. Sir, your name.
Yes.
Your name and address for our records, please.
Brian Fabiano, 19 Patricia Place. I'll state it again, 19 Patricia Place.
Thank
Come
you.
anytime for tea.
Excuse me?
I want to
Thank you.
address
Just
the
address your
gentleman.
comments to us,
Yeah, I
please.
want to address the gentleman's comments he was just up here. The problems in the Board of Education are across the street, not here. The problems in the Board of Education are funding and getting projects done are across the street. It's the lack of poor leadership. It's poor leadership that has gotten our school district into the problems that it's in now. So to come here and blame the council is just a disgrace. But again, it's election season, so we'll come out with all the tricks and pony shows and blame this one and that one. What I'll say is this. I live off of Spotswood Englishtown Road. I see those trucks coming out of the landfill every day. And you know what? It is a disturbance to the neighborhood to see tractor trailer after tractor trailer after tractor trailer. And I wasn't sure when the municipal government and the mayor went to the BFI landfill and said it was going to get done, the issue was going to get corrected, and my neighbors were not going to have the issues that they had with the smells and and you know, a whole host of issues. But the mayor delivered, and that's the truth. That's not politics. We're on schedule. We just said tonight we're not spending any more money than was originally proposed, and a major issue is getting corrected. So I don't know, you know, you can come up here and say what you want, but the proof is in the pudding. There may be some things that I don't agree with, but the big projects like a BFI that were proposed have actually been delivered. So to come up here and talk about issues that really belong across the street with the Board of Education is really, in my opinion, the wrong forum. We have a problem with in the state of New Jersey with funding for schools. We know that the funding formula is broken, but it doesn't start here. And if we want things to get better, we want our Board of Education to improve, we want a better relationship between across the street with the Board of Education and the council, we need to find a way to work together. And I think that was a great example of working together when we put the new track and field, you know, in with the council and the mayor's support. You know, but we had a different president at that time, someone that understood the importance of working with the town and not attacking the town and seeing things get done. So before you come up here and put on a political stunt for election season, let's understand where the issues lie and whose responsibilities they are. And I object to coming here and saying that the school's problems are the mayor's and the council's. Go to a Board of Education meeting. Go and see what's going on across the street. Teachers are in the situation they're in right now because of poor negotiation on the part of the folks that are on the Board of Education who are part of the negotiation. Things change, benefits change. We understand that. But if the school district hasn't been in a position to budget correctly, to understand where things are going and what they need to have the additional funds to be able to deliver better solutions for our teachers, which includes bringing them up to salaries that are in line with towns around us, then that's poor funding on the school district's part. Bring those problems to the Board of Education meeting. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Chief. Anyone else wishing to address the council at this time? Please.
Okay. Michelle Arminio, 9 Nathaniel Street. I'm just going to sort of go, I think, backwards for my questions. The road work resolution, just the last three, 1, 4, 5.
Yes.
And I think that goes with 137. We can start with maybe 137. We're buying $24,000 for 30-inch road saw and blades. Is that for road and asphalt care?
Would you like us to answer now, Council President?
Yes,
or-
please. I can
Yep,
answer.
it's up to you.
Michelle, would you please answer that? Thank you.
Do those go together?
Thank you, Council President. It's to assist the utility department when they make repairs for all of our underground assets. Many of the underground assets that we have are in roads that have very thick concrete and asphalt pavement, and our existing saw, which is old, will not cut through it, and that also saves a lot of money on having to hire an outside contractor.
And does that have also to do with 145, the bid for MECO? They're doing road work. They're the third party doing road work, right?
Correct.
Because I thought that the Public Works Department was no longer, I know we bought equipment years ago,
Yes.
but we're no longer using that equipment to actually do road work. Is that correct?
Mr. Weinberg.
Right. We've always had, they've done, to answer the second part of the question, at times, historically, they did road work. And recently we had a roller where we thought we would do some internal road work, but not major road work. But this is something we do every year for about $1.5 million. And this is 4+ miles of road throughout the town. As Mark mentioned earlier, I think, I can't remember how many streets he said, including this location over in at EMS. And so that is our annual keeping the roads and targeting the roads that need the improvements the most.
Okay, so
over 4 miles.
do
So
we
it's not-
still have equipment then now we're not using from the Public Works that?
We do not.
So
We
did
do.
we sell that off?
We did. We
Those-
auctioned it off.
Okay, thank you. The resolution 132, the survey for environmental report from Center State, $15,000. Will that actual survey be farmed out to another engineering company?
I think it was farmed out to them.
It was farmed to them.
So they're actually,
I mean, do they have a subcontract?
yes.
Mark?
Yes, we have a surveyor that we work with.
Yes.
Yes.
So what is the $15,000 going to? Because is that the actual survey, or is that doing preliminary work to farm out to the subcontractor?
The surveyor was with our firm.
He works with the firm.
We have a surveyor that handles all our survey work.
So the $15,000 will take care of that, or will the surveyor get additional monies?
And I didn't understand the answer either.
Council
So
President.
It isn't subcontracted out, it's being done by staff.
By
Council
your
President.
The survey will be done
Yeah,
by,
the surveyor is an employee of the firm.
Well,
no, he
as
says-
of this moment, we have a surveyor that we utilize for all our survey work.
There you go.
But we do have an additional surveyor, so I don't know which surveyor is going to be using it or doing this work. But there's also additional work involved with this project. It's not just survey work. There's an environmental report that will be provided as well.
Phase 1.
So my question is the $15,000 the totality of the cost for these services?
Yes. No,
Yes.
if I can answer, yes, not to exceed
This item,
15,000.
yes, it
Okay,
is.
thank you. And, all right. And I want to thank the mayor once again for pointing out that we had a very good relationship when I was the board president. I am no longer on the board. However, my love for this community extends and continues to extend both here and on the Board of Education. I would like to say, however, that while the Board of Education and the municipal government are two separate governing bodies, and they have two separate responsibilities, and I'm not speaking for the board now, I'm a citizen who has observed long-term that all of the development is not, the Board of Education and the responsibility to educate our children is not solely controlled by the board, it's controlled by the municipality. So all of the development is impacting the ability for the Board of Education to get referendums done and everything else. And I know my time is up. I want to thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for your comments. Anyone else wish to address us at this time? Seeing and hearing that no one wishes to, I would like to make a motion to please close the public comment section.
So moved.
Thank you. Second on that, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Public comment section is closed. May I have a motion for adjournment, please? May I have a second on that motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Time of adjournment is
8:43.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are adjourned.
Night.